how do you dry your flakes? It's simple. I usually rub them out until already rubbed. Put them on those paper towels that you always see me throwing the tobacco on. And I dry it out that way. Yeah, it takes a little bit longer to dry out usually because there's still chunks of flakes there. You know, it's already rubbed at that point. And it takes a little bit longer for the moisture to work its way outward through the little pieces of flake left. So it takes a little bit longer. And you also have that false sense of dryness also, you know, but you touch it and it feels dry. But deep down in the center, it's like taking your finger, and the center of your finger is still moist, where the, you know, like say like where inside the little bones are, it's still moist. That has to work its way out to the surface where the skin is, and you might feel all this and it's dry and you think you're done, you're ready. That's why you always put it in a jar or put it back in the tin and let it sit a week. A lot of times you will find that it seems more moist after it sits a while versus when you dried it out. And what's happening is all the moisture is coming outward and evening out through the little pieces of tobacco and the little pieces of flake that are left. And now you have an even smoking experience because it's all evenly moistured throughout the little pieces from the center all the way out. Now, if it's still too wet, dry it out again. You know, put the towels, dry it out again, put it back in your jar, let it sit for a little bit, maybe another week if you have to. A couple days, you usually know what's going to happen, you know, where it's going to set up at, and then go from there. Any suggestions on other good straight Virginias, flakes, or otherwise? This was on the Hamburger Wehrmaster video. So, other straight Virginias. Capstan. The McBaron Mature Virginia, I believe it is. The flake one, the one that they currently have. Let's see. There's so many. There's so many out there. They're flakes. Capstan comes in flake form and ready rubbed. Oh, you can take your pick on that one. Of course, the Galwith Full Virginia, if you can get your hands on that one, that's always a good one. But that has to be dried out to a bone, and then put that in a mirror, and your mind will just be blown. You know, so if you want a mind-blowing experience, get some Samuel Galwith Full Virginia Flake. Recently, I saw they came out with something called Burnt Ends, which they stoved it. But get the original one, because I don't know what that one tastes like. They added heat to it. So get the original one, dry it out to a crisp, put it in a mirror, and sit and relax and thank me later. Why does the old pipe smoke smell so nice while cigar and cigarette smoke both stink to high heaven? Well, cigarettes are full of chemicals to begin with. You have the paper, like lighting up a sheet of paper in your house, you know, plus the chemicals. They don't even smell like cigarette tobacco. Just a couple whiffs of secondhand smoke, I can get an instant headache. So nasty stuff. And cigar, it's a totally different leaf. Those leaves are grown down in Nicaragua and that down in that area, Central America area, where most of the cigars come from, at least the premium ones anyway. It's a whole total different type of tobacco. Also, pipe tobacco is usually cased with some natural sweetness, a sweetener like just sugar water or molasses water. Sometimes, you know, the real popular pipe tobacco is usually an aromatic. They have those sweet toppings on it. But yeah, pipe smoke is, I never get a bad comment in public about the pipe being lit, it's always like, man, that smells good. Question. Walls are very smooth after sandpaper. What do you do to get cake out of the bottom of the bowl? I can't reach it. Sounds like you got small fingers. I've never had a problem getting to the bottom of any bowl. My fingers are, more than long enough to get down there. If you don't want to use the sandpaper, you can use, one of these bad boys. You can get a little pocket knife to get in there. I mean, if you got a pocket knife plus this, and you can get your finger this far down, I mean, how big of a pipe do you got? Or, if you have cake built up to that extent, you're going to have to remove that cake. Then you might want to clean it up with the sandpaper. So if you're doing that type of, a lot of cake removal, you can even get a Dremel tool with those little sandpaper, the little circle ones, the little cylinder ones. And you have to be very careful. You have to have a steady hand. I've done it a couple times because, I would get pipes in from eBay and people do not know how to smoke meerschaum yet. And they cake it up. And, that's typically what happens. Most people are not educated enough. They just think they've been smoking briar for years and they're just used to the cake process. And they're like, let me try meerschaum. And it smokes wonderful. Beautiful smokes. And then after about 20, 30 smokes, the cake starts building up. They don't know to take it off. They think it's normal. And it's not smoking good anymore. And they're like, I don't like meerschaum. I'm going to sell it on eBay. I don't smoke, but I miss the smell of my Grampy's pipe. Is there a way to just burn tobacco like incense? Well, not that I know of. But years ago, a couple companies, I think it was Dr. Grabo, used to sell broken-in pipes. And what they used to do is they used to have a smoking machine. And they would hook the pipe, they would fill the pipe up with tobacco, and they would hook like a hose to the mouthpiece, and they would have like a vacuum, and the vacuum would go on and off or whatever, and they would light the tobacco, they would tamp it, and then the machine essentially would smoke the pipe, and they would go through a series of bowls to break in the pipe and get a little cake going. It's a unique idea. I guess that would be the best way to do it, is buy a pipe and rig up a smoking machine.